The biking craze of the decade is coming to a screeching halt, folks, and you and I are to profit from it all. Time to get your hands on that bike you've been waiting for all these years. If you were patient, now's your chance to scoop up bikes, e-bikes, and countless other bicycles at up to 50% off from the price from just a few months ago. For years, a cycling wave has been hitting the world. From gravel biking to e-biking and even bikepacking, there's been a massive surge. But it's showing signs of crashing, and the ones to benefit from all of this are people like you and me. To grasp what's going on, let's explore what happened, where we are, and where things are going. Anyone with eyes noticed that the past few years have been fruitful for bicycle manufacturers. So much so that countless new brands have decided to hop on this bandwagon, possibly not seeing the looming danger to follow. The result of the hype? Tons, and I mean literal tons of bicycles, mechanical and electrified, popping up like spring flowers after just a couple of days of sunlight. Well, a rogue frost is officially upon us. Actually, it's not a rogue anything, but rather Economics 101, and I mean that in the most literal sense. In Econ 101, I learned the notion of supply and demand, an idea that was seemingly forgotten in the recent cycling gold rush. Well, that gold rush only lasted until late 2022 because at the beginning of 2023, I noticed something I never thought I'd live to see. Massive, and I mean massive clearance sales on bikes that include some of the industry's best technology. To quote Trek's website, Trekfest is on now. They're dropping up to 40% on select machines and apparel, hoping to clear their warehouses. For example, the XCE Caliber 9.9 with AXS Gen 1, a bike designed to bring home gold medals, was selling for $13,000. And it's now down to just $10,700. Bikes like the Marlin 6 are also reduced to around $750. Clearly, I'm not going to make this all about Trek. Brands like Specialized, Cannondale, and Canyon are also clearing house. Honestly, the more manufacturers you look for, the more you'll find, and all are dropping prices like mosquitoes on a zapper. Oh, and it's not just bicycle builders either. Component brands are experiencing the same dilemma. After all, the two industries do walk hand in hand. From drivetrain builders to suspension brands, all are feeling the sting of jumping the proverbial gun. Then there's a little guy or local shop owner. What are they to do? Well, most likely the same. This means that shop owners will be lowering prices too, and hopefully not to the point of no return because I have some friends who own shops. What does all this mean for the industry? Well, it means a slowdown, and one that has considerable effects on the entire globe. First of all, rogue manufacturers that have popped up in recent times will most likely go poof. I mean, why would you buy a $2,000 bike from a no-name crew when brands with decades of history have a better version for possibly the same price? I like to call this natural selection. And then there's a stabilization of prices too, which should follow a moment like this. Again, it's supply and demand. Supply and prices were high due to demand, and since demand has dropped, prices now follow a downward trend to clear that supply. Obviously, no one will be manufacturing thousands of models anymore, at least not in the same manner. Now that you have an idea of what's going on, what does all this mean for you and me? Well, the most obvious are price cuts. Manufacturers are dropping around at least 15% off models to ensure they find a home, and that's always good news for us. Since these prices are set by industry giants, you can bet your bottom dollar that any new teams on the block will respect and work within the new limits. Now, history has a way of repeating itself, so what can you do to ensure you take full advantage of the next wave to pop up? The first is to identify the effects that caused the rise in manufactured units. In recent times, it's been the global health crisis, pushing countless people towards single occupancy means of transportation. Couple that with rising fuel costs, and brands started going all out Oprah on everyone. You get a bike, and you get a bike, and you get a bike. One aspect of this boom that we must keep in mind is that analysts project nothing but growth in the upcoming decade. This means that this stage in the bicycle industry is only temporary. Couple that with e-bikes and the numbers show more and more business to be had. The next time you see everyone rushing to the counter to buy that special machine or whatever it is that's so hot right now, slow down for a second, take a deep breath, and analyze what's going on. Because if you knew that this wave was about to crash, you could have been a tad more patient and taken advantage of it now. As for myself, I'm curious to see how much further prices drop. After all, if we pull together and refuse to purchase those often overpriced two-wheelers, rates should keep sliding. They're called waves for a reason, and this one is for lovers of bicycles like you and me. The only question now is, what about you? What bike would you like to get your hands on during this stage in cycling history? Maybe a Specialized. How about a Trek? How about a Scott? Santa Cruz? Cannondale? Before I go, always remember to use safe riding methods. This means wearing a helmet and even obeying local laws and regulations. Until next time, stay safe and have fun out there.